All right, welcome to another Pro Football Doc podcast. The holiday schedule had us off a little bit. Martin Luther King Day and Junior Seau's birthday
There you go.
yesterday.
Did not know that.
Anyways, uh, division games over. National championship is over for college football, and conference championships up next. NBA full roll and college basketball and coaching carousel and hires and so forth. Lots of things to talk about this week. Any particular place you want to start, Taylor?
Oh, just done recently. Salah's interesting. I don't know. Titan seems like a really scary job. I feel like there's a lot of ways it could go bad, but I mean, he seems like he has a really good talent pool that he's accumulated over the years. So he might have the right assistants. But I don't know your thoughts on that. Yeah.
I think that makes sense for Salah in a lot of ways. First of all, the number one thing you talk about is you need a quarterback. You got one.
Yeah.
You do have some players on defense, Jeffrey Simmons. There's a little mini core there. And although they would love to see a Rabel-like turnaround for the Patriots in 1 year, I think he's got a little rope there.
Okay.
And we've talked about on this podcast before. I don't know Amy Adams. I don't know anything, but we talked about it. You and I talked about it. I talked about it with a few media members that I was confident that Sean McDermott would get fired before the news came. And most people disagreed with me. And I don't know. I'm not clairvoyant. I have no idea. I just have always been an observer of people. We've gone through the Chargers timeline before, who you hire next, right? I mean, when we fired Marty Schottenheimer, 14-2, maybe that gave me experience to say that just because you've been a winning coach doesn't mean you can't get fired, right? And who are you going to replace? Because we were winning with an experienced head coach, someone to get you over the top. Marty's always gotten people there, but someone to get you over the top. We brought in Norv Turner. We got to an AFC championship game, did not get to a Super Bowl. It made sense. What's Tennessee doing? They're regretting firing Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
They're saying Mike Vrabel just took the Patriots somewhere. We're regretting firing him. And so we hired the young offensive wizard. It didn't work. So who do we go get? If you look at the pool, who do we go get? You probably don't want to go with young wizard again. So you're looking at experienced coaches. Who's left? Go back and get Sean McDermott now?
Does he want to go there though? Even Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, does he want to go there? You know what I mean? Those are the experienced guys. Yeah.
Who else is in this experienced pool? Stefanski was interviewing, is gone.
Yep.
I mean, Robert Saleh's done it before, and he has. Look, no one else is Mike Vrabel out there. But in terms of tone, temperament, leadership, experience, Saleh's as close as you get. So I think that move makes sense to me.
What about Brian Flores? I like him.
Brian Flores is interesting. I mean, I guess he could have been on the list too.
Brian Dable. You're getting to a point though. Then Jim Schwartz, he's just a DC, but he was a head coach before. That's probably the last couple people that are by far experienced, right? Like you have the Joe Bradys and the Kubiaks and Jesse Minters and stuff. They're newer. They're like the up and coming coordinators that could get jobs, right? So,
no question. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that McCarthy's getting a lot of play in Pittsburgh. I thought they'd go young guy for another decade.
Like you said, the opposite of Tomlin, right? What do you do with opposite Tomlin? Up and coming young, firecracker.
No, I don't say that's opposite of Tomlin. They didn't not like Tomlin. They would have had Tomlin keep coaching there.
That's true. He just moved on.
Like Tomlin wore out his welcome there. I'm saying what they did with Tomlin has worked. What they did with Cowher has worked. Hiring a young assistant to go for a long time. But that's not Omar Khan. That's not what he
Mhm.
did. So that's
Yeah,
where
exactly. Yeah.
that's what ownership has done. Steelers have traditionally hired a young guy and made it work for decades. They've only had 3 coaches in their career. So that's why McCarthy surprises me a little bit, but maybe it's because Omar Khan's, but it's not done yet. Or maybe they don't have a young guy that's wowing them like that. But getting back to Sean McDermott, we talked about it internally. I said, look, we like Denver over Buffalo.
Mhm.
And if you took Denver over Buffalo, 1.5 points, money line, it's about even money. About, okay, not different. If you went on in one of the prediction marketplaces, and our guy Doug pointed this out, if you believe that if Buffalo loses, that McDermott would be fired, he was 15 cents wins a dollar before the game. And in game, it started to climb. And post game, it was more than 50 cents.
Mhm.
So you got a 3x return if you just cashed out then.
Cash out like a stock. Yeah, exactly.
But if you held on, you would have gotten the full dollar. But I'm just saying there's other ways to do things, and we'll look into that. But the Sean McDermott thing, maybe because of my Charger experience, I saw Marty Schottenheimer get fired after 14-2. We don't need to get into all of that.
Right.
Having a winning record and getting in the playoffs doesn't make you immune. I mean, as they say, the definition of insanity, expecting a different result with the same input, right? And so McDermott, look, a lot of people said Brandon Beane should have been fired. He didn't give him enough talent. He didn't give him a wide receiver. Well,
He hasn't drafted well at all either. But yeah, go on. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but you got him Stephon Diggs, and he and Josh Allen didn't necessarily mesh. And Josh Allen runs the show. And remember, the defense is what let them down. I like when McDermott started saying the call. I was like, that's the
He's
guy
a little worried
defending
about something. Yeah.
job too much. I mean, he can't say Josh Allen's 4 turnovers. I mean, think about this. Name one time that you can remember. I can't remember, but that a team could have 4 turnovers, minus 4 on turnovers, 5 turnovers, minus 4 on turnovers, and win a game.
I couldn't
Name
remember.
last time a team was minus 3 on turnovers and made it to overtime in the playoffs. That's Buffalo. So you can get into the calls. You can get into was that a safety in the end zone and the game should have ended? Was this pass interference? You can get into all that. But I don't know. I want Buffalo to do well. We'd like Denver based on the numbers. But replay that catch, Taylor.
Oh, before I do that too, I'll put that video. Did you see what Joe Burrow said about those catches? So Burrow did you see it? Joe Burrow hasn't tweeted since 2024. Okay. So someone's like, he found his Twitter password and so I want to say what he said because I do want to talk about those catches, Doc. So his exact tweet is also it's funny, Doc. The last tweet he did actually say was 4/26/2024. 18 games, 2 bye weeks. I know you'd love that because that's what you want, right? And you guys have been proponent of that. But that was his last tweet. So he said, the amount of people that don't understand what a catch is in the rule book is flabbergast me. And it's not the officials. The 2 plays yesterday were not difficult calls, and they got them both right. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just unusual for Joe Burrow to come out of the woodwork
even say stuff. I know, yeah.
Because you're talking about someone else.
I thought it was fake. I thought it was like a fake tweet or something at first. I had to
That's
go
the thing that's unusual about it.
Yeah.
It's one thing if Joe Burrow is asked a question about it. Here, he jumped in uninvited.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, everyone would want to hear from him. But it just was a little odd that he felt like he had to get that off his chest, which was interesting. But, I don't know, bulletin board material, who knows? The bottom line is I actually agree with Joe Burrow. Let me break it down this way. The exact same Brandon Cooks play, exactly the same. Everything exactly the same. If it's called a catch and he's down by contact on the field. Can it be overturned?
No.
No. Exact same play the other way. It's called an interception on the field. Can it be overturned?
No.
No. Okay. So you have it, but you can't say yes.
Yeah.
The catch can be overturned to an interception, or no. No, it was a very close call, but it was the rules. Now let me give you the final. Exact same play, exact same sequence of everything, except as the ball is wrestled out of Brandon Cook's hands, it hits the ground. Is it an incomplete pass or a catch?
It's an incomplete pass.
There you go. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And I know
that's why he's saying it's so cut and dry, because in theory it is
cut and dry.
So, yeah.
It's not desired. I get that. And I do agree with the idea that let's get rid of the man behind the curtain. Who's back there making these calls?
Right. I like that.
Let's have some clarity there. That I agree with. But as you, and if people are watching video, they could see in your face, you are begrudgingly admitting the points that this was a clear
with the way you frame the questions. I mean, I got to answer like you say, and those are the result, right? So I mean,
and if you frame the question that was, you see what the ruling is and see, like, like I don't know, my sideline gig, as you know, was rules expert.
Yes.
Or review expert. I mean,
you had multiple people on the sidelines ask you, what is this? Is it this or this, Doc? And
might have been my proudest moment. Some of you have heard it before. Is one time when Doug Flutie asked me what the review would be, what the call is going to be, and I was like, "Wow, Doug Flutie knows football, man."
Yeah, he wants everything. Yeah. I wanted to answer your.
And I guess what it comes from is I actually watch what I call a lot of TV football. Players don't watch TV football. They watch a lot of football film. And so I actually had a lot more experience at seeing what announcers were saying, rules analysts and TV was saying. I don't know X's and O's and schemes like football players. They watch way more football in terms of film, but I've always watched way more football in terms of TV. And what we're talking about here is TV football.
Football,
not football X's and O's.
So two teams this year, Doc, won with 4 turnovers. The Jaguars in November beat the Cardinals in overtime. They committed 4 turnovers. And then the Seahawks did it in October. They beat the Texans. So that makes more sense. Texans, right? They can commit so many, they can force people to turnovers, but sometimes they're not figuring it out. But like you said, those are 2 little things I nitpicked. Yeah, it's not a thing that you want to do, and it's hard to win games, like you said. Doing that.
I mean, let's put it this way: it's a 95+% loss when that happens.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, 99 maybe, or 98, whatever it is. But so I guess it's not impossible. I was a little bit wrong there. But let's talk about 2 other. Oh, and then the final thing is, I feel like I'm not like I have no sources, and I'm not like a head coaching who's next guru, but I read tea leaves. I want
to mention that, Doc. So, because you're going to be humble, Harbaugh to the Giants, you told me before anybody else. I want to mention, you told me Mike McDaniel wasn't going to fit in the Lions. That became true because I was very set on that. He did interview there very quickly, like I thought he would, but they went with somebody else, and it looks like it's because it's more of a culture fit than the most talented player available, right? So that was like you said, you're more clairvoyant than most, just because, like you said, you're good.
Well, I'll tell you where I was wrong. I thought Stefanski was going to the Ravens.
That's true.
I did not realize there was a Philly connection between Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski. I did not realize that there was a Matt Ryan connection to Stefanski. Okay. I thought Stefanski was going to the Ravens, but I didn't know that part. So wrong there. But here's the thing about Harbaugh, and I told you and others, not only that he was going to the Giants, before he got fired.
How he was going to go. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
I said it before he was even let go from the Ravens. I'm saying he's going to move on. He's going to and we talked about it. We don't need to go over it. The Lamar and Harbaugh rift is strong, but whatever. And we saw it in the injury reports. But here's the thing: the lesson from that one, way easier to get a new head coach than a new franchise quarterback, Lamar. What about
I heard
Buffalo?
that they're trying to
way
free him
easier to get a new head coach than a
Yes,
new
then get
franchise
rid of your
quarterback.
guy.
Now you could
Exactly.
say same head coach, same quarterback. Let's fix the defense and not make Josh Allen have to score 30 points. But what's Sean McDermott? A defensive-minded coach. Right? And then, okay, Brandon Beane didn't get him the talent. Okay, well, I mean, obviously the ownership sided with Brandon Beane. So therefore, if you're going to make a change, it was McDermott.
Jonathan Gannon was the same way too. He was hired as a defensive coordinator from the Eagles. Remember when they won the title, and he came over to the Cardinals, and their bane of why they've been bad, it wasn't really the Kyler Murray injuries. It was their defense. Their defense was bottom 5. So like you said, if you're a defensive coach, that starts to stick to you a little bit, right? Even though it might be doing okay in offense. So that might be the reason why, that happens.
Let's do one more thing on coaches, and then we'll move on. I found it very interesting that Kyle Shanahan and Sean Payton in press conferences talked about medical stuff specifically, not just Bo Nix's ankle, but Kyle Shanahan talking about Toradol used to be a taboo thing when I was there. Like,
can't say the T word.
Kyle Shanahan said, like, yeah, we knew he's fine. The Toradol takes a while to kick in, and he had an oblique, and he's going to be fine. And on that note, boy, I mean, I'm really glad Sam Darnold played, because if Sam Darnold didn't play, I think I would have had to quit Twitter, man. People would have been coming at me for that. You were only 2 out of 10 worried. You're a quack. You're this. And look, the line moved to 6.5 because he wasn't seeing pregame. But in pregame warm-up, Drew Lock's out here pregame before 90-minute warm-up. We don't see Sam Darnold. And there was a lot of consternation. But like, I should have gone harder on this. Or I know we talked about it, but I was at the baseball game. But there's no conceivable world that Sam Darnold gets ruled inactive without taking the Toradol, some other injection, and trying to throw pregame before 90 minutes before being made inactive. There is no conceivable world when that happens. So the fact that he didn't come out there before 90 minutes means that internally in the locker room, he knew, and the Seahawks knew, he was fine.
Right.
So as opposed to he's not out there, he's not good. It was he's so good that he doesn't need to.
They don't need to show anything. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And the other, and someone else called me and said, a national reporter, what about, Toradol only lasts so long, so maybe they weren't giving him the Toradol yet, so they didn't want him out there. I said, so to make sure it lasts the whole game. And I said, it's possible, but most times you also want the assurity that you're good before 90 minutes because you don't want to play a man down. And I said, man, you can give a second dose.
Second one. That's what I'm saying. The second one. Exactly. Yeah.
There's halftime.
Yep.
There is
halftime.
early.
Yeah, exactly.
Done it before. There is halftime.
So yeah, you've dealt with that. So you've had players that that they need a second injection, and then you've done that. So like you've seen this experience. So when Darnold wasn't out there, you're like, it actually strengthened your argument instead of like you saw media swirling like crazy. Doc, oh, is he out there? Drew Lock, first team snaps. Jalen Milroe's out there as well. Where's Darnold? Da, 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 right. So, but when you saw that, our analysis strengthened, and we even saw it half. Went to 6.5 for a little bit, right? So if you're following low key leads, you go 6.5 real quick in the Seahawks. But I mean,
yeah, I did. But I will say this though. I was a little bit nervous only because I wasn't following everything because I was watching my son's baseball game. It's like, so if I'm missing something here and he doesn't play, I'm going to get infinite grief on this. And I don't know that I can save it. Now,
well, I called you a billion times.
I got infinite grief?
Yeah.
Another playoff game. Rams against the Seahawks, I think.
You talking about Goff, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Talk about that. Yeah. I believe.
Rams
Let me look at it
against Seahawks. I said, Goff 100% is playing with his son. 100%. He's the starter. 100%. And he didn't start 90 minutes ahead of time, 91 minutes ahead of time. Jay Glazer breaks the news he's not starting.
Seahawks is correct, by the way, I think. Yeah, you're good.
And I'm like, what? This was an IP joint. There's no way he's not playing. He's capable of playing. And he ended up playing 3.5 quarters because
Wolford got hurt. Wolford got hurt with neck concussion.
Don Wolford got a neck injury, won the game, and played the next week. But we circle around and said, what that tells you is if Goff wasn't the starter because he didn't practice on Tuesday or Wednesday during the week, that means he's not the favorite son anymore. That they think of Goff here and Wolford here, or here and here, or here and here, whatever it is. This guy doesn't practice, makes this guy the better option. And he got traded that offseason.
He was gone the way they were doing that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and the other reason we knew Goff was healthy is they only activated 2 quarterbacks, Wolford and Goff. If Goff isn't 100% healthy, you're not going into the game with 1.5 quarterbacks. So there, I was wrong saying Goff was starting, but the logic and reasoning actually was right and led us to the things. I don't think I would have had an excuse on Darnold.
Yeah,
if he didn't start. That would have been
the Wolford one's funny, Doc, because like statistically, he was only like literally a couple snaps. It was very early on the game. Wolford gets the win in that game, by the way, statistically, which is interesting because he started the game. So yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I remember even Steve Biscotti, I believe that's how you say his name, the owner of the Ravens. He said if Harbaugh would have gone to the playoffs or maybe even won a game, that they were still going to do what they did. So like you said, it doesn't matter the Schottenheimer thing. You can win 14-2, but if there's other stuff being on behind the scenes, they're going to make the move regardless, right? So that's what was going to happen. I do want to mention Tom Brady because we always talk about him. He visibly showed his Raiders colors yesterday, which I thought it was really interesting. So if anybody is not really understanding what's going on over there, Tom Brady is very much involved in picking draft picks, coaching, etc. And you've told me this. I probably didn't believe you the first couple times you told me, but I mean, it's heir apparent now, right? What's
Tom Brady is a minority 5% owner.
Right.
At the Chargers, we had one minority owner who had they let him travel to away games, but he had no power, no say, nothing. He's the only guy they didn't want to sell.
Was any famous person or like an investor?
No,
or just,
no.
Okay,
he owned a restaurant, but he just refused to sell.
Right.
They couldn't make him. And so he had a very small percent, but he wasn't really part of the team organization. Tom Brady has 5% of the team, I believe, but he has 51% of the influence.
He has a lot more.
Mark Davis is the controlling owner. Mark Davis makes all the decisions, but Mark Davis is listening to Tom. And I'm not saying that's not good. I mean, if anything, maybe it's a good quality that Mark Davis says, gee, Tom might know more than me.
Maybe. Yeah.
But here's the thing I'll say about Tom. The transition from being a great quarterback to an executive, it's just different. John Elway had his struggles doing that.
Yep.
John Lynch has done well doing that. It's just different. I'm not saying he's going to fail. I'm not saying he's a guaranteed success. It's just different. And I would say this, I see this, and you can bookmark this, I see this relationship as a negative and potential disaster if Tom Brady wants to put himself in the Raiders building and be embedded with the Raiders all the time. I believe he could become a very good executive / owner, advisor, etc. If Tom Brady treats it as a part-time job, I think it would be a disaster. Now, I should take out if Tom Brady treats it as a part-time job. I should say if anyone treats that role as a part-time job, it will be a disaster. Tom Brady was just fill in the blank. Okay. I mean, it wasn't a shot at Tom Brady. So
you're saying his speaking role, it's difficult, the speaking role and doing what he's doing to be 100% at both. It's probably right. It's probably right.
Not because of what people in media sometimes say. Well, he can't meet with the other team or go in the other team's building. He's not going to be a good announcer because that's not it. What it is if you're away from your team every time they play, every time they're at home, every time they travel to play, and away from their team during the week when they practice, what are all the little things and signs that you're missing? Like when he's broadcasting a national game and the Raiders are playing at home, there's a lot that happens in that weekend, nuances and subtleties,
right?
That from many miles away you may not get, or you get a filtered version of what happened, right? That's all I'm saying. You
Yeah.
don't get all the information if you're not embedded. I mean, if people want to argue that referees need to be full-time so they can be better at what they do, there's not even new information coming out when they're not full-time. It's just
Right.
extra studying.
Yeah.
If you're running a team, there's all sorts of new information that comes out on
Every
a
day.
daily
Yes.
basis,
Yeah. Right.
of terms of nuances. A player, this player, boy, he's tough as all get out because he wants to play regardless, Max Crosby. Or this player may not want to play through injury. Those are the daily nuances. This player wants to practice. This player doesn't want to always practice.
I
There's
remember
lots
when
of daily nuances that come up.
Sorry, real quick. I remember when you told me about, I believe it was Tom Telesco, Chargers, that he used to be given a stack of just like a notebook or something of daily, information that came out through media, this on players that he has and stuff. So, I mean, like you said, that's being done in every single room, right? So, I mean, these are constant, like you said, every little information that they need to know right away. So,
and I'm not suggesting that Tom Brady would be the GM. Okay, that's a different role,
right.
But I just think when you're an advisor, and that's the kind of what he is. I mean, if you're going to be a trusted source of go-to guy, it's hard to pick and choose, right? You need to embed yourself in the team to do a better job. Maybe Tom will prove me wrong because he's Tom and he can do it all. But you really have to get all the nuances there in what's going on.
Before we jump into Bo Nix and the other games, people are asking about Carlton Davis for the Patriots and his concussion. Doc, I just want to bring up real quick. Once NFL ends, we're gonna continue to do. We're in college basketball now. We've been doing it since the year started, so we'll be ready for everybody. Sick Picks has done very well this year, Doc. Up 20 plus units, 55%. And then NBA, we have a very good algorithm that we have we have court views. We have NBA team scores at sixscore.com. Doc, just show everybody a little bit what we're going to be doing once NFL dies off. Well, never dies off, but
we've done it for years,
right?
The biggest surprise in what we do is that, okay, to me, it's about the hidden injuries and cluster injuries. It's not about, oh, Bo Nix isn't going to play. Well, the world knows that. And on occasion, there's the Sam Darnold. Is he going to play or is it not? But it's really more about cluster injuries. And let's say the San Francisco 49ers. They've done an unbelievable job. Seattle was our guaranteed pick. And people might say, well, you kind of got lucky there. You got an opening kickoff return for a touchdown, and then it kind of went downhill and it snowballed. And if that didn't happen, they would have been in a fight for their lives. So you all got lucky at Sick Picks. I say no, because who plays special teams?
The backups.
And linebackers are key.
Yeah.
Safeties are key.
People that can tackle. Yeah.
And run.
Mm-hmm.
And run.
Get to the guy and tackle. Correct. Yeah.
The 49ers were so depleted on depth. They're on linebacker 2 and 3 and more at certain positions.
More. Yeah.
So I don't know what they decided to do, but if they kept the backups running special teams, what happens? The backup that used to just pay attention to just special teams, like do the ammonia inhalant before they ran down on opening kickoff because that's their chance to shine, probably do the ammonia inhalant before they go out for the first defensive series because now that's their chance to shine. Yep. So their focus changes, right, to playing linebacker as opposed to playing special teams. That could help hurt the special teams, but also fatigue. Someone who's just running special teams and puts all his effort into the dozen plays that he plays on special teams now has to have focus on both and play 60 plays. And also, if you then say, no, we're going to take him off special teams, now you have a backup special teamer filling in, et cetera. So I just say that downstream effect may have had something to do with the Shaheed return, as well as Shaheed and Seattle doing a good job. So
Right.
cluster injuries. So what's the whole point of all this? In the NFL, you have 22 starters taking away the special teamers, 11 offense, 11 defense. We actually do 12 on
12
defense.
on
We put in a
defense.
slot corner. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed on our field views.
I haven't heard it.
I've never had anyone call us out on it.
They
Yes,
probably
we
like
know,
it, but it's
yes, we know we have 12 players on the field.
we know that it's 11.
We
Yeah.
just feel that's
Yeah.
important to cover the way NFL's is today.
Passing game,
But-
absolutely.
So if it's 22 starters in the NFL and 5 in college basketball, 5 in the NBA, every injury is basically 4.5 people.
Mm-hmm.
And 4.5 people is a cluster injury. So the point guard gets hurt. That's a cluster injury in that area. The power forward rebounder gets hurt. That's a cluster injury, like having 3 offensive linemen down, right? So that's why I think basketball has been very effective in what we have done, more so than I would have thought. Yes, I've covered NBA for a little bit for the Bulls, a little bit for the Timberwolves, but my expertise is more in football. But the basketball stuff is useful, and I would urge you, like a lot of you guys who follow know what you're doing in football. Maybe use our information to put 2 units on a play or downgrade to half a unit on a play based on an injury information because you know what you're doing. But if you're not sure what you're doing in basketball, give it a follow and try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, college basketball and NBA.
And what we do a really good job on Research Doc, and everybody, just to let them know, is like we do really good on when we see an injury and these cluster injuries, we try to see the trickle down effect and where these points are going, where these rebounds going to helps with props.
Same
helps with
thing that we
everything.
do in the NFL. But here's
Absolutely,
why we've been doing college basketball and NBA, but our focus shifts. Why? Because when we have 16 NFL games and 32 teams playing, we're drinking from the fire hose, and we don't ever want to dilute the NFL content. So we're following college and following NBA, but not our resources are now shifted.
Yeah.
Because now we're down to 4 teams and 2 games. Our resources are shifted to college basketball and NBA. So that's why we're not doing it as hard before and now harder now, or more focus on it now, so to speak.
Might as well
And
just jump
speaking
in.
of NBA, there's a big NBA injury last night.
I was gonna say we might as well do that before we do NFL because we're talking NBA. This is what my next trickle down thing I'm trying to do is what happens when Jimmy Butler's out, right? That's a huge deal. Trade deadline. Tell me what you saw. I know it's already been confirmed with the ACL.
Oh, it's been confirmed. I haven't seen that.
It has been confirmed. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Shams did it 7 hours ago when we were sleeping.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
when I was sleeping. Now, by the way, if you guys didn't catch that was a shot at me. He was texting and calling me, and I didn't answer, and I was sleeping. So, but I did.
You did text ACL at 10. I saw you did say that.
I don't know. Maybe after the news. I didn't. I promise I didn't.
Before Shams did.
I just looked at the video, ACL and tweeted something, but maybe Shams already beat me. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, the one other thing before. Jimmy Butler with an ACL confirmed. Yeah, what does it mean is now the deal. But the other coach thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit before we get there is Sean Payton. Sean Payton kind of explained why he told everyone. He said, "Look, I wanted to tell the team, but half the team was gone. Yeah, I guess he could have texted the text chain to the team, but he said, well, I wanted them to hear it from me." And Taylor, make sure my quote is correct. Basically, he was saying, I wanted to hear from me rather than from a national media insider who got it from some doctor. And I found that really interesting. And
not some national insider that gets it from an agent or it gets it from a doctor. That's what he said. Yeah.
Yes, the agent gets from a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I said something about that's a HIPAA violation, and I would never. And all the comments that came in were just so random. I was like, hey, can you read the quote tweet? But also, let me explain HIPAA. No, I'm not saying Denver Broncos doctors would tell national media. I'm saying guys who saw the images or perhaps treating him or perhaps elsewhere. Look, think of it this way. I'm not going to throw any stones or whatever, but we all are suspicious of agents and national media that say, so-and-so is got this new big contract per name of the agent. And anyone in media would say that agent is the one who gave that guy the news in return to get his name in there.
Promote it. Yeah.
Okay. Why is it that you hear about certain doctors when they do a surgery and you don't hear about certain doctors when they do a surgery?
Because certain doctors are telling Schefter, right? Or the people, they're telling them, right? Yeah.
I'm not throwing stones at anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Payton is smart enough to have seen stuff happen, and he's suspicious of doctors. And it is absolutely a HIPAA violation unless the patient allows you to do it. A team doctor is not a HIPAA violation because he's telling the employer, the team.
Right.
You're able to tell the employer, the team, everything. Like, it's interesting now. I think I finally, in San Diego, the media used to hate me because
you're Paul Revere, Doc. You're the bearer.
Oh, no, but the media used to hate me not because of that, because I didn't tell them anything.
Okay.
And they would come to my charity event and write nice things about the charity. And then I'd see them down at the Charger facility and they're like, you snubbed me. You didn't even say hello. And I'm like, you don't understand. If I say hello to you or I'm friendly to you, the next time there's a leak of information, they're going to think I leaked it.
Right.
I don't
openly say what's up to you.
Information, and I'm not leaking information. And so I would pretend, obviously not very well, not to have heard them or seen them say hello. And they interpret that, I mean,
as you're ignoring them. Yeah.
Whatever. So it's not even that I didn't want to say, hey, how are you doing? I can't answer a question about the team and move on. Even that interaction would be, oh, look, I saw Chow talking to so-and-so at the Union Tribune.
People start talking and stuff. Yeah.
People start talking. And so the local media, honestly, I think hated me. I think they now understand what I was doing, but at the time they hated me. But I can tell you, I'm not going to throw any names out there. I know for a fact that national media do try and talk to doctors directly. Second opinion doctors. The team doctors,
they can't get to.
Are going to be really mum about their own team. They value their job too much. It's the second opinion doctors that sometimes talk. But I just found it interesting that Sean Payton called that out. That was my only point, that he is aware of how some leaks happen.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you said, and it's something you've known, and I feel like you've shared before in the past, and it's just how
well, it works. Just look. Yeah. I know all about the Toradol, lived it, the whole deal, and Kyle Shanahan talked about it in the open. I know all about the leak process, and Sean Payton called it out. That's all.
Mm-hmm. All right, Doc. I want to make sure people remember we're going to start going through all the both the 2 games left over. There's 4 teams left. All the insights, field views, everything are at sixscore.com. First, just real quick, Doc. Did we miss the Bo Nix injury, or what happened there with that ankle? I feel like it was just I was more surprised with the announcement. Usually, that's like one of the first ones. Usually, when we see an injury, I know about it, or we diagnosed, or we did something before. But that one was an interesting one right after, right?
Very surprised.
Yeah.
Only that we know it's his right ankle. Only we know the play. I can theorize the step that it happened, but that's only in retrospect.
Right.
I didn't see it in real time. And if you look, he gets up and limps a tiny bit, but you think it's a normal football play. He makes the next downfield throw. It's off his back foot. He does stumble and struggle a little bit getting up from the kneel down. And then he does post-game interviews on the field. He walks around on the field without assistance. He daps up his teammates. He does limp slightly. And yes, he does not jog off the field like most triumphant, victorious quarterbacks.
That's what people were mentioning, yeah.
He didn't jog off the field. He walked off the field. That's it. And then, to me, what was strange, it's not strange that you knew what was going on because you have x-rays. It's not strange that internally you would know, but the team normally goes ankle injury, second opinions pending, MRI pending, kind of thing. Payton came out a second time from his press conference and gave it exactly, including surgery scheduled. And
Tuesday and everything. He said a day. Yep.
Tuesday, he let it all out. That's pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Get the X-rays, get the diagnosis, talk to the player, talk to his agent, talk to his family, talk to the second opinion doctor, have one picked out, get the second opinion doctor to FaceTime, Zoom, or something, I would assume, or at least talk, and schedule the surgery for Tuesday. I mean, that's pretty interesting.
All
but
in like
no,
20 minutes.
It's not, and let me put an end to this. No, in no way is Bo Nix playing in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Period. End of discussion. I don't care what kind of plate or screws. I don't care what type of tightrope that you put in there. If there was, first of all, not only because Sean Payton said he's not playing, his season is over, but if there was a slightest of chances, you're telling me they couldn't have flown him to Alabama or whatever second opinion doctor on Sunday and done surgery on Sunday? They would open up the surgery center or the hospital for the 2 extra day head start when you're talking about trying to return for a Super Bowl. I mean, there aren't 20 days before till the Super Bowl. You wouldn't take a 15% advantage, 10-15% advantage on time and do it on Sunday if you thought there was a sliver of a chance of return.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And I actually had a fun text exchange with Phillip Rivers. He texted me a bunch after that happened. He goes, "Oh, it's crazy how this happened." I said, "Yeah, they announced it was crazy. You think they're doing this because he can return to play?" I said, "Well, A, Payton said he's not returning to play. B, what we just said." But I said, "But Phillip, would you even want an immobile Bo Nix out there?" And I literally said to him, I'll show you the day. I said, "An immobile Phillip Rivers, I'm good with. An immobile Bo Nix, I'm not." And he laughed. And he said, "Yeah, but you got to look at your other options." And I mean, bottom line is no, in no way. This is not Thomas Davis playing 2 weeks after his both bone forearm fracture in the Super Bowl.
And then talking about options, I'm biased, but Jared Stidham, $5.5 million a year, paid more than most backups. Sean Payton seems to be very confident in him. So, I mean, they do have I think they have an option, right? The Colts didn't really have an option, so here comes Phillip, right? I see them having a decent option, but it's not something they want to go in without Bo Nix going into the Patriots game is not ideal.
See, I look at that as 6 score can't help you there because the Stidham in, Nix out is known, and the line has already reacted.
It's already moved, exactly.
So there's no line advantage. There's no hidden injury advantage. There's no cluster injury advantage there. But as we finish our analysis for this game, I think there is going to be some advantage for this weekend's games. I know that you all have put out a guaranteed pick already, and that record's been stellar, 9-2 or something. I don't know.
9-2 after this weekend, with the Seahawks win. Just going through their injuries just outside of Bo Nix, Doc. You have Troy Franklin, number 2 receiver, with a hamstring injury. Pat Bryant with his second concussion within a month. So we could be worried about them missing the game, right? This is Troy Franklin's speedy receiver, and Pat Bryant's second concussion, Doc. This is something that maybe is an IR thing, right? So, I mean, there's
tough.
No
need for IR at this point.
With the playoffs, but it would be maybe if it was in the regular season, maybe.
Unless they needed like the roster space for some reason. There's no reason to do that.
They opened J.K. Dobbins' practice window yesterday with his foot injury that he suffered week 10 that required surgery. Is this another one that you don't expect him to come back, or is this a Super Bowl thing for J.K. Dobbins?
I do not expect him to come back this week at all, and even the Super Bowl is a long shot. He's activated now because of why not?
Just to see if what he can do. There's no reason not to. Okay, yeah.
You get a 21-day practice window before you have to end his season or elevate him. You're within 21 days of the end of the Super Bowl, the end of the season. Why not? I mean, see what he can do. I do not expect J.K. Dobbins to play.
And one other problem spot I want to mention is Luke Waterberg has been on IR for almost a month due to a shoulder injury. And then you have the backup Alec Forsythe. He left the game due to an ankle injury. So there's a potential chance that there's center 3 out there with a new quarterback, down 2 wide receivers. So like you said, there's a lot of issues on this Denver team that are not just Bo Nix, right? So we'll obviously our 6 scores will reflect that. Like you've already said, the lines kind of reflected Nix already. The one injury I want to mention, we had a chat comment about it already, is Carlton Davis. He suffered a concussion last week. I remember they had Christian Gonzalez had a concussion the week before. He was able to make it and play effectively. You've always said concussions are like snowflakes. This doesn't necessarily mean Carlton Davis can do the same thing, correct?
Doesn't, but you got to look at the practice reports. Each concussion is different. The key will be the FP on Friday. The second key is an LP on Thursday. He has to have the LP on Friday to go see the guy, independent neuro, to get cleared to travel on Saturday for the game. So the Wednesday, a Wednesday DMP doesn't scare me.
Mm-hmm.
A Thursday DMP scares me a lot.
A lot, yes, yeah.
A Friday LP would scare me a lot.
Because you still need to get cleared there. It's not 100%, yeah. Seahawks, we'll go to Seahawks Rams. Zach Charbonnet. Did we see that on video ACL? Yeah. Did you
I saw it. You guys sent it to me.
Yeah.
Once again, baseball is an excuse. I could see where there could have been a chance of there being an ACL tear, but it didn't reach my 95% threshold. Okay. So I didn't see it clearly enough to say, to even put out there, by worry, ACL, I didn't see enough to put it out there. And initially, the Seahawks said no structural damage.
Yes, yeah.
And I don't know if they were just hiding it or
trying to find, because you said already. Usually,
or the MRI really surprised him.
Yeah. That one's interesting, Doc.
Either way, season is done. Yeah.
I have I do a bunch of dynasty leagues because I'm crazy, and I have Kenneth Walker in a couple of them because I had these from before. So this one's interesting. Kenneth Walker is an unrestricted free agent, and I was really hoping he would go somewhere else because they do a very good 1-2 punch. Now with the Charbonnet injury, I would think, just my theory, I would think Kenneth Walker goes back. Why not? They need a bell cow now, so they'll just sign him again and then probably draft somebody and then get Charbonnet, because Charbonnet. Looking at 2026, we're worried, right? Because this is a January ACL tear, running back.
2026 is not going to be his best year. A spot play, second half of season. But does that make Walker come back and be the bell cow for a year? Yeah. There's so many other moving pieces there.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. Does someone give him a better offer somewhere else? Does he say, no, I like Seattle and I'll come back and you're going to make me the bell cow? And maybe I'll get the chance to do more. Sure. Yeah. Or is that not enough? And someone else there's a better scheme fit and monetarily more. There's a lot to go into that there.
Oh, but for sure.
Does Zach Charbonnet's injury increase the chances of Kenneth Walker coming back? Yes.
Yes.
Does it cement that Kenneth Walker will come back?
Not 100%. No. Yeah.
Just like Daniel Jones' Achilles increases significantly the chance that he'll come back to Indy. And we've talked about that. It doesn't cement the fact that he will, but all the tea leaves are saying that he will. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold and his oblique injury, Doc, what did you see in the game? He really wasn't pushed to throw much. He had 124 yards. He did have a 70.6 completion percentage, had the touchdown. His rating was 110.9. Did you see any limitations from his oblique, or did you think, like you always thought, that he was going to be okay?
I saw that he had a bigger little pad flat jacket. Either that or he had some healthy meals this last week. Just joking. I mean, the oblique is sort of flank. Oblique attaches to ribs. The flak jacket makes sense. I didn't notice anything on any throws. Yeah, he didn't throw a lot, and he didn't throw downfield a lot. He threw downfield some. But I think that was more part of the game plan than anything else. And then also the score, right? So exactly. I did not notice anything. And I fully expect him. I think the chances of being FP this week are greater than being DNP this week. I think the newness of it when it just happened at the end of the week, we're so close to game time, let's just shut you down. We've already gotten in the practice that we need. Mm-hmm. Whereas this week, they're going to want to practice him some, I would imagine. And, Sam Darnold has not fared well in his last 4 games against Sean McVay's defense.
Right. Darnold, that comment. your Darnold comment was interesting. Because I remember when I first started working with you, one of the first articles I wrote was his mono. Remember, he had mono when he was on the Jets. And the first thing you told me, you're like, Taylor, he can't play for like a month because what? He's gonna lose a lot of weight, right? So that was it's funny that you were saying that, because that's the first thing I remember with Darnold is that mono thing. Excuse me. Charles Cross, he just returned left tackle. He came back from his injury. He's left the game again with a foot injury. We need to monitor the injury reports there because that's a left tackle. It's very important for the Seahawks. And then the Rams, right tackle, Rob Havenstein. They're trying to get him back, but they haven't even activated him yet, so we need to watch that. Kevin Dotson did return right guard. Huge news for them. He played well. And then Emmanuel Forbes, he had a shoulder injury, but he did return. So Rams have a pretty healthy roster going into this game, Doc. Darnold's finger, Matt Stafford's finger, I didn't even see an issue at all. We didn't see it. He was fine that game. So those are the big games, Doc. Any of your thoughts on that Rams Seahawks game? Our numbers will obviously release our numbers in a little bit.
We got to figure out numbers, but normally we have a great wild card weekend because there's more injury mismatches, and as we get the divisional round, fewer games and fewer mismatches. Although we had a very good divisional round,
yes.
Including the guarantee.
Yeah.
Championship weekend gets tighter. There's only 2 games, 4 teams, and healthier teams move on, so it gets tighter. But we will have some pretty good info, and we're working on some stuff. You brought up some points, etc. But it'll be fun. But, all right. Anything else here?
I want to mention just the college basketball and NBA we talked about earlier in the podcast. That's going to continually flow. Our Sick Picks has done really well on both those sports. Like you said, the cluster injuries, we'll continue to work on that. There's NBA information, articles, insights, all at sickscore.com. College basketball, Sick Picks, we continue to post daily. Like you said, anything else? We're ready to go for the next round of the playoffs, Doc, right? And make sure we like and subscribe. Good. All right. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.